ball.
God, I've never been so let down.
Hello, Ari.
Hello?
Hello. Just making sure that you're here. Congratulations on the 2-0 victory over Beastcoast. I'll be honest, you came a little bit earlier than I was expecting. Well, what are your thoughts on the series? You could be my other analyst. What's your critical outlook on what Beastcoast was doing poorly or what you guys were doing well?
I don't really pay too much attention to what the enemy was doing poorly necessarily, but I think we as a team really stepped up this series. I think we had a couple of like heart-to-heart talks as a team about our problems and what we need to improve on, and we really tried this game to improve upon it. Mainly our communication, I would say. Everyone was really trying to communicate every bit of information they can, whereas usually we're like slacking a bit. And yeah, I think our team just really stepped up this series.
And was this the talk that you specifically had after the Tundra series, or is this something even after Group Stage 1 you guys were talking about?
We did have a kind of serious talk after the Tundra series, but it's kind of like up and down. Like every other day we'll have like a discussion about our problems and what we need to improve upon. It's been like a very productive boot camp. Like some days we feel really good, some days we don't feel very good, but all the time it's just because we're trying to improve. And yeah, the Tundra series was really rough, so we did have quite a big discussion to have after that.
Yeah, I can imagine. Even from our perspective, we were a little bit surprised because you guys did well in the initial group stage, came out top 4, and then now we had all these 8 teams put together, and you guys looked outclassed in that one, but whatever you guys talked about definitely crystallized in this series against Beastcoast because you looked fantastic. Kazu, do you have any questions for Ari?
Yes, first off, congrats on the win, Ari. Looking good.
Thank you.
I would say TSM, in some of your guys' mid-games, have looked very shaky, perhaps, in the recent days and recent series. Is that something you guys talked about, or why do you think that happens even in the first place?
Yeah, definitely. So I would say it's mainly due to communication and not having a clear captain. Sometimes people are like disconnected. Even if someone's making a call, someone else will be thinking about something else and not really like enabling each other's calls and ideas. So we're just not really on the same page of how we want to play. But yeah, we like recognized this and noticed it. So now this series, we really actively tried to enable each other's calls and play together, play around the right heroes. And yeah, I think that's the main reason why we performed a lot better this time in the mid game than previous series.
Yeah, it showed a lot. Thank you.
Hey, congrats on the win. I guess a general question, how would you describe your team or your team's identity?
That is a tough question. I'd say we're mainly based on Moon's ideas. He built up a philosophy in the team, and then all of us tried to follow his ideas. So we're like a bunch of young, mechanically skilled kids, all be like trying to follow Moon's ideas. So then we have the knowledge as well as the mechanical skill of a bunch of 5 Zoomers. That's kind of our team.
That was great.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like
awesome
it.
answer.
To build off of that question real quick, I really liked your Lifestealer pick in the first game. In the second phase, you banned the CKTV Slark for it, and the remaining Hector heroes, in my opinion, they kind of just suck against Lifestealer. Was that a full talked about idea from Moon, or did that just come due to their opening and the Pango pick, or how did the Lifestealer pick come out? If you can.
To be honest, I don't think we prepared that much for this series, and actually at the start of the first draft, Moon surprised us. He surprised Kasane, and he was like, Kasane, you're going to draft for this series.
Whoa.
And Kasane had no idea about this before the series. So Kasane was like just spontaneously drafting.
What a monster.
That was how he played the series. We've done this a couple of times before, like Kasane drafting, because we find if he drafts, then he tries harder in the game. So sometimes we'll like surprise him and be like, Kasane, you're drafting now. But usually he gets time to prep. In this series, he didn't get any prep at all. So he was just freestyling, drafting against Beastcoast.
That was a pretty good freestyle draft, my friend.
My goodness.
With no help from anyone else?
Kasane genius.
Oh.
I mean, Moon helped him a bit, but
Okay.
it was mostly him.
All right. What is your reaction if Moon comes to you and says that? Like you're drafting.
I would say no. I don't really want
Good
to.
job.
I'm not that interested in drafting at all. I just want to play the game.
Do you communicate a lot in terms of your own pick though? Like, are you like, let's
Yeah,
say, discussing a lot
my
about your
pick.
role?
Yeah, about my pick in particular, I like to have like the strongest voice because I feel like there's a lot of like unique parts of matchups and heroes. So unless you play a lot of it, you won't really understand it from an outside view.
Yeah.
So I like to have a strong voice on my pick, but for everyone else's, I just leave it to Moon or the individual player.
I do notice that you're quite the grinder when it comes to like really spamming heroes in pubs. I feel like that's probably
Yeah.
something that you bring to the table in terms of recognizing those lane matchups that maybe some other supports aren't quite as diligent on in terms of spamming and trying to recognize that. So that makes a lot of sense.
No, this man's a student, if nothing else. And I have one more question. I don't know if you know when Whitemon is ever going to be on location with you, or is it just going to be for Berlin Major?
I think today his visa actually got accepted, so he'll be flying out as soon as possible. So maybe he'll be here in a couple of days.
Nice. That's fantastic news. Well, congratulations, Ari, on this victory. And extend my congratulations to Kasane as well for a well-done draft. Thanks so much for taking the time to speak to us, and we'll see you again.
I will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.